Luca. Bueno. Pinu. Bueno. Pinu. Bueno.
So the environmental scientist who was DMing me saying that they found phosgene chemical in the snow falling in Quebec, Montreal to be specific, apparently works for Environment Canada, which is crazy. And this is coming from the Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio disaster. But you can see this DM. Thank you for doing what you do to get this info out to the public. I'm employed by Environment Canada. I'd be open to the idea of a podcast. I asked him to do a podcast with me if he could, share his data. My only concern is that I'm in a bit of a whistleblower situation here. The info I've supplied doesn't directly breach any NDAs I've signed, but it's teetering on the edge. And the testing itself was highly discouraged by my supervisors to begin with, so I fear my employment can be at risk if the publicity of the info leak reaches back to me. I have no issues showing you raw data and credentials to back my claims, but as for my own personal identity, I'd much rather keep it under wraps a bit until more people come forth with similar statements. So that's really interesting. But yeah, I think I'm going to do the podcast with the guy hopefully in the next 24 hours or so. And then I'll share that with you guys, and hopefully we can have some other environmental scientists, chip in and say, hey, does this guy sound like he knows what he's talking about? Should we be concerned? So this environmental scientist also added, the direct levels of phosgene aren't super high. We're looking around 5 parts per million, which is enough to cause things like headaches and respiratory irritation. The majority of the contaminants we're finding in the snow samples are other compounds that by themselves pose no threat. It's when they're combined in such high amounts that they're considered dangerous. This is important. Things to watch out for are a rainbow sheen to otherwise clear ice. Things like ice on a car after freezing rain, grayish colors in snow that's normally untouched, i.e. open fields. If you see this stuff, don't eat it. Try to keep your hands clean after handling, and during blowing or heavy drifting snow, try your best to keep your face covered. So I think that's especially important for people with children or pets. Do not let them eat any of the snow or play unsupervised in snow right now because there could be this phosgene leftovers from the fallout from East Palestine still in the snowpack. I would also say anyone who's going out camping, I'm a big camper, and I just literally in the wintertime, you put snow into a kettle and you just heat it on a fire and you melt it down. So I'd be careful if you're camping out there anywhere within a few hundred miles, multiple hundred. I mean, Montreal, this is where they're finding this. Montreal is a long way off, so you got to be careful about that.